What's going on, guys? I'm here to review chapter 1085 of One Piece. Chapter 1085 is titled The Death of Nefertari Cobra. And what a crazy chapter. What a crazy, scary chapter. I wouldn't say, yeah, it's kind of scary. Like, what a menacing. I don't know how to describe it, but let's go ahead and get it to the major events. I'm gonna run through the chapter, the big stuff that happens. And it's a lot of stuff that happens in this chapter, so let's go ahead and get into it. So this episode begins where the last episode, this chapter begins where the last one left off, with Cobra's meeting with Emu. Emu appears and sits on the throne. Chapter begins with Cobra just sweating bullets, right? No one's supposed to sit at this throne. No one's supposed to sit here. And of course, Emu sits on the throne. He says he's going to answer a few of your questions. He's going to answer a few of the questions he had. He begins to talk about the poneglyphs and the D moniker. And he states basically, people nowadays, the people who have that name nowadays, they don't even know what it means, right? They don't know what that even means. And the poneglyphs, right? He says the people would never the pirates would never be after the poneglyphs if it wasn't for Queen Lily, with her name being revealed as Nefertari D. Lily, as revealed by Cobra. This shocks Emu, right? Shocks him. And Cobra is sitting here thinking like, yo, I'm not gonna get out of this. I'm probably not gonna get out of this alive. And they basically pull out their guns. It's like, yeah, as soon as you saw him, there was no way he was leaving, right? There's no way he was leaving alive. So he has to accept he's basically dead man walking right now, right? He found out all this information just for him to die, right? So Sabo's been watching this entire time, and he tries to attack. Not before he doesn't even die by the five elders who pull out their guns. He dies by an arrow being shot through him, as got revealed in the spoilers that I recovered not too long ago. We don't know where the arrow was from, who shot this arrow. We don't know. But he doesn't die from any of them. He dies because someone shoots him in the arrow. It's a shadow arrow. Like, it's not a regular arrow. So that's crazy. We still have questions about that. But Sabo ends up showing up and tries to attack. He tries to save Cobra, right? With Cobra's like, oh, you have to live. You have to go. You don't leave me. Don't try to take me. I'm just dead weight, right? He's already dead, basically. So, and while this is happening, while Sabo's trying to run away, the five elders, they transform into these monsters. Right now, we don't see what they look like. They just become shadows, right? They're obscured, so we don't know. And this is very, this imagery. I love this imagery. It's very frightening. It's very frightening. And that's the feeling you're supposed to get, that this is very, that's what I get from this chapter. It's frightening. It's very scary, and he tries to run away, but Sabo ends up getting pierced too. He ends up getting hurt also, with Cobra telling him to carry on this message to Luffy and Vivi. He reads off the letter from Queen Lily, which gets obscured. We don't know what all he said because they're the roars of the five elders, and Emu obscured that information. But Sabo knows it. And then we go into while all this is happening, Sabo recounts a conversation he had with Luffy and Ace about the D moniker, right? Them talking about they have D in their name, but none of them, they don't know what it means, right? It's just a name, as they say. Like I said, Sabo is struck down. He's attacked by one of them, but he still ends up getting away. He ends up getting away with Cobra dying. Well, he was already on the verge of death, but he ends up getting He ends up dying here. He sacrifices himself so Sabo can escape. With Wolpel watching all of this and ends up running away because they notice he's there, right? So he's dead too. He runs away. He runs away. Vivi, we then go to Vivi. Well, before that, we go to the meeting, the reverie, the council, and they say that Wolpel and Cobra, they won't be coming back, right? So they continue with their discussion, and Shirahoshi is wondering where Vivi is. She wants to say goodbye to her. And then we go to Vivi, who has been captured by CP0. She asks about Shirahoshi, right? Which she's fine, and they recap what happened with her with their names are slipping my mind right now, but they attacked the Celestial Dragon last chapter, and that Fujitora helped the Revolutionary Army free the slaves, with Ryokuchu obviously being very mad about that. So they're arguing about that. So Vivi's just sitting here, and Wolpel comes rushing, breaking the wall, and he ends up grabbing Vivi, and they end up getting out of there, running away. He says that, she asks, where are you gonna go? How far are you gonna go? He says, wherever it takes me. I'm gonna run to the ends of the earth if I got to. And Vivi agrees. She says, I'm going with you. Like, let's go. With Wolpel's wife being there and just thinking that they're running off together or whatever. So that's really the important stuff that happens in this chapter. How do I feel about this chapter? You guys know I've really been wondering what happened to King Cobra, really, because I knew it wasn't Sabo who did it, of course. Why would he have done it? So the media, of course, they framed Sabo. Like, I think we all probably knew that. So what really happened is they had this meeting with Cobra, the 5 elders, and he saw Emu sit on the throne. No one's supposed to sit on that throne. And as soon as he came in, he was basically dead. He wasn't making it out. He wasn't making it out of this alive. And of course he dies. But he doesn't really die by them. Something else shoots him and kills him. We still have some questions, like what happened there? Because they had their guns out, ready to kill him. But it wasn't them who killed him. Of course, he talks about the poneglyphs. All the pirates are after it now. That's the worst possible outcome. Like, everybody's after that, and the D moniker. He basically answers the questions that Cobra had last chapter. We still have a lot of questions from this chapter. What was Lily's letter? We don't get the full letter. It's obscured. So what's the message? We'll probably learn that eventually. We'll definitely learn that soon. But we still have a lot of questions. And let me just say, this Emu's presence is very frightening. This chapter gave me goosebumps. Like, this is very tense, a very tense conversation. Definitely a lot of tension in this room. That's basically the vibe I'm getting from this. That's the word I've been trying to say the whole time. It was slipping my mind, but it's very tense because they're not letting him go. Obviously, they're not gonna let him go. This is where he dies, right? You get that whole vibe, and I love that. So this is what I've been waiting for, right? This is what I've been waiting for, and I love the chapter. I love it. Of course, this is the payoff I've been waiting for. And we see Wolpel run off. I'm really curious to see where they end up going. Do they end up getting caught eventually? Who knows, right? Because they're going to be after Wolpel. He got out of it alive. He saw everything. He is the one who got out of it alive to tell. Will he tell it, or will he just run off? Probably run off knowing him, but yeah, we just have to see. I'm very curious to see where they end up going. Sabo, we know, because he's already telling us. We know Sabo gets out. We know Sabo gets back. So this chapter overall, it's a crazy chapter, very tense chapter. We finally get to know what really happened to Cobra. I'm very curious to know. I still have some questions. Very curious to know who did it. Where did the arrow come from? Where are Vivi and Wolpel heading? And what did Queen Lily say in the letter? And of course, the big questions, to learn more about D and the poneglyphs, of course. But those are the big questions I'm I'm wondering. Definitely interested in knowing who shot that arrow, and also the letter. But I don't think we'll be learning about that like anytime soon. We're probably gonna be wondering about the letter for a while now. I'm very curious to see what happens in the next chapter too. We'll see when we get there. But like I said, overall, very love the chapter. Definitely loved the payoff. I loved the build up to this. I love the build up to the big scene where everything goes down. Definitely love that build up. But yeah, next chapter, there's no break next week, so I will be posting the spoilers for next chapter and reviewing the next chapter next week, and also the Pokemon episode, the latest one I'm recording this on Friday, right? That episode released, so I will be watching that and recording my review and having that up by Saturday. So that's all for me, and I'll see you on the next one.